English Grade 6. Quarter 3. Module 7. Writing a 4-paragraph composition showing comparison and contrast. At the end of this module, you are expected to 1. Identify paragraphs developed through comparison and contrast. 2. Use transitional words, devices in writing, and 3. Compose a 4-paragraph composition using appropriate transitional words in comparing or contrasting elements. A. Read the following statements. Then choose the letter of the correct answers. Write your answers on your answer sheet. 1. It is a mode of paragraph development which explains an unfamiliar idea or object by giving the similarities or differences. A. Narrative. B. Definition. C. Cause and effect. D. Comparison and contrast. 2. When we compare, we simply give the blank of ideas or objects. A. Differences. B. Similarities. C. Uniqueness. D. Similarities and differences. 3. The following are transitional words used to show contrast except blank. A. Although. B. Both. C. Unlike. D. Whereas. 4. In comparing objects and things, we may use any of these transitional words except blank. A. Also. B. However. C. Likewise. D. Similar. 5. The paragraph may be structured this way when using comparison and contrast mode. A. Topic sentence, compare and contrast, closing statement. B. Compare and contrast, topic sentence, closing statement. C. Topic statement, closing statement, compare and contrast. D. Compare and contrast, closing statement, topic sentence. B. Write a 4-paragraph composition using the topic below. The first sentence for each paragraph are already provided for your easy work. Write your answers in your answer sheet. Topic: compare and contrast things you do in the old normal and new normal. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed, and will continue to change, the world and the way we work, rest and play. Life adjustments often come with a wide range of experiences and emotions. Life in the old normal and new normal are different in many ways. Both life in the old normal and new normal. In contrast. By comparing. 2. We learn that. Lesson 7. Writing a 4-paragraph composition showing comparison and contrast. Comparing and contrasting is necessary for interaction with the environment. Finding differences and/or similarities helps students organize both new and known information. Students will be able to note differences and similarities between or among objects, ideas, entities, concepts, events, or other subjects. This module will help you identify and use contrast and comparison in writing sentences in a 4-paragraph composition and differentiate each according to what they express. To contrast something is to look for differences among 2 or more elements. To compare is to do the opposite, to look for similarities. Analyze the pictures and identify their similarities and differences. Draw the graphic organizer, Venn diagram, in your answer sheet, then write the similarities in the intersecting circles and the differences on the outer circles. Comparison in writing discusses elements that are similar, while contrast in writing discusses elements that are different. A comparison and contrast paragraph analyzes 2 subjects. In comparing and contrasting, transition words help the learner identify the similarities and differences between the subjects presented. They also enable the reader to move from one idea to the next idea. Transitional words and phrases such as although, however, on the other hand, while, and but are used to contrast while both, same, like, also, and as well as are used to compare. Now, let's read the story below and let's try to figure out how we can compare and contrast the subjects presented. Best of friends. Joey and Vince are best of friends since kindergarten. Even though they have their own baons, they still share it with each other during recess time. Joey always makes sure to bring banana for Vince because it's his favorite fruit, while Vince picks Chico from their backyard to make sure that Joey does not miss to taste the sweetness of the fruit. They are industrious as well. Since they were neighbors, they make sure that their shoes are always clean. Joey uses shoe polish to keep his shoes shining all the time, but Vince uses only a dry cloth to wipe the dust and dirt of his shoes. However, there are times that they don't agree with the kind of TV show they wanted to watch, but they settle it through Jack and Coy. They decided to keep their friendship until they grow old. Guide questions. A. 1. Who are the best of friends? 2. What do they have in common? Their differences? 3. How do they settle their differences in the kind of TV show they wanted to watch? 4. What qualities and traits do you like best between the two? 5. Do you have a best friend? Share your experiences with him, her. B. Determine the transitional words used in the story by filling in the mystery box. 1. Even though they have their own baons, they share it during recess time. 2. However, there are times that both of them don't agree with the kind of TV show they watch. 3. Joey uses shoe polish to keep his shoes shining all the time, but Vince uses a dry cloth only to wipe the dust and dirt to his shoes. Discussion. One method of paragraph development is through comparison and contrast. Comparison shows similarities while contrast shows differences. A compare and contrast analyzes two subjects by comparing them, contrasting them, or both. The main reason for using this method is to explain an unfamiliar object or idea by comparing or contrasting it to a familiar object or idea. The writer may develop the paragraph or essay by first discussing all of one subject and then fully presenting the second subject, or the writer might discuss one like or different trait with each subject and then move to other characteristics, thus discussing both subjects together. A third method might be to present all of the ways that the subjects are alike and then discuss all of the ways that the subjects are different. The key to a good compare and contrast writing is to choose two or more subjects that connect in a meaningful way. The following are some useful transitional words and phrases that can be used to show comparison and contrast in paragraphs. Comparison. Similar to, similarly, in the same way, like, likewise, equally, again, also, both to, each of, just as. So. Contrast. In contrast, on the other hand, different from, whereas, while, unlike, however, but, although, however, conversely, yet. You may use the sentence frames below when planning for your paragraph writing. Take the following A4 paragraph as an example which shows comparison and contrast between basketball and volleyball. Basketball and soccer are sports with many similarities and differences. Both sports are fun to play and each one has many beneficial qualities. Here are some of the similarities and differences with basketball and volleyball. Basketball and volleyball are played with a round ball. They both provide a ton of cardiovascular exercise such as running and jumping. So if you want to get in shape, these are the sports to play. A referee judges each game. When a player breaks the rules, he or she is called for a foul. A soccer player receives a red or yellow card and a basketball player is called for a foul. Finally, a score is kept in each game. The team with the highest score wins. Even though basketball and soccer are similar, differences do exist. Even though an athlete dribbles the ball in both sports, a basketball player uses it to drop and a volleyball player must not let the ball to fall. Basketball is played with 5 players and volleyball has 6. Lastly, basketball has 4 quarters and volleyball winner usually takes 3 sets to win. In conclusion, both sports are fun and exciting to play. Each one offers exercise and competitiveness. Also, they are unique in their own way. Independent Activity 1. Read the paragraph carefully, then answer the questions that follow. Write your answers in your answer sheet. The bahay kubo and bahay bato are only 2 of those folk houses originated here in the Philippines. Though these 2 are both used as shelter, they also have similarities and differences. A nipa hut is a traditional home that is still used by Filipinos. Bahay kubo, as they fondly called it, is easy to take down and put up. In fact, the spirit of bayan symbolizes bahay kubo, wherein it can be carried from one place to another. This is perfect for people who need to move quickly from one place to the next. Unlike the bahay kubo, a concrete house cannot be moved. It is permanent and is meant to stay in one place for a long time. A concrete house is built using bricks, blocks, steels, and cement. A bahay kubo, on the other hand, is built using bamboo poles and nipa. Concrete buildings are perfect for people who live in hot climate. The bricks help the home to stay cool when it is hot. In contrast, bahay kubo is great for tropical countries just like the Philippines. 1. What is the paragraph all about? 2. What 2 things are compared and contrasted? 3. What specific transitional devices were used to show comparison and contrast? Comparison. Contrast. Independent Assessment 1. The graphic organizer below shows the comparison and contrasting characteristics of the 2 subjects. Now, arrange the ideas between the 2 and write a 4-sentence paragraph in your answer sheet based on your analysis. You may use the template below to start your paragraphs. Dogs are our best friends, which is why we Filipinos love them the way we love our family or friends. Dogs, whether local or hybrid, are interesting to raise as pets at home. Both local and hybrid dogs are also different in many ways. Local dogs are as pins. Meanwhile, hybrid dogs. Independent Activity 2. Jimmy and Evelyn have both written about their recent birthday parties. Read both paragraphs. Then, write a 4-paragraph composition comparing and contrasting the things they did in their birthday parties. Write your composition in your answer sheet. Celebrating one's 7th birthday is probably one of the most memorable days in a person's life. Comparing blank and blank, 7th birthdays are alike in several ways. Both of them blank and blank. They also blank. On the other hand, Jimmy celebrated his birthday blank, while Evelyn blank. Another difference is blank. Although they share blank, only blank isn't the blank.
Independent Assessment 2. When you compare 2 subjects, you look for things that are the same. When you contrast them, you look for things that are different. Some pieces of writing both compare and contrast two things in the same paragraph or essay. Writers use transitional words to suggest whether something is being compared or contrasted. Think about two buildings that you are familiar with. They can be two different homes, two different schools, or any combination of buildings. Write a 4-paragraph composition in your answer sheet which compares and contrasts both two buildings. Independent Activity 3. Let's now compare the pictures below by identifying the qualities of both. Use transitional words in writing a 4-paragraph composition that compares and contrasts the two subjects. From the picture above, write a 4-paragraph composition showing a comparison and contrast between Lito and Juanito. Write your composition in your answer sheet.
Summarize what you have learned from this module by answering the following activity. Tell whether each statement is a fact or a bluff. Write the correct answers on your answer sheet. 1. A paragraph developed through comparison and contrast presents the similarities and differences of two objects or things. 2. When we compare, we simply explain the differences of the things or objects. 3. On the other hand, whereas, unlike, and however are transitional words used in making comparison. 4. Paragraphs developed through comparison and contrast must have topic sentences. 5. Transitional words like likewise, equally, again, also, and both too are words expressing similarities. Analyze the two pictures above. Daisy and Tina are happy-go-lucky type of pupils while Marlon and Myra are very fond in artworks. Now, write a 4-paragraph composition that shows comparison and contrast between the two pictures. Write it on your answer sheet. Answer the questions below using compare and contrast. Do this in your answer sheet. Lists the details to compare and contrast the two subjects. Then, write a 4-paragraph composition. We are facing new challenges in the new normal education. Can you now compare and contrast the new normal kind of education with the previous mode of education? Write in your answer sheet a 4-paragraph composition using comparison and contrast statements.